The internet is a weird place. Um, it is a lot of people who operate off hurt or whatever. But like I told people and showed people, I operate on the highest level of the vibration scale, which is enlightenment. That's where I reside at. Um, so and most times if you want to surprise me, you can be someone that I'm not talking to and then be offended. I know who I'm gonna trigger when I say things. So it was a couple comments under my first reaction. And I was wondering why, but I knew why. And of course nobody disputed anything that I said. Of course. Of course they didn't do that because how could they? But a guy told me I would get embarrassed in this debate. Now people who know me, people who know me avoid me like the plague when it comes to debates. And I absolutely positively dare a person to deny that knows me and who has known me for people avoid me like the plague when it comes to debates. You better ask about me. I'm a little different. I'm a little different. So like embarrassed in a debate. Here's the thing about me. If there was a person that would embarrass me in a debate, it would be a topic that I wouldn't debate because it would be something that I don't know enough about to even debate with a person, to get embarrassed, humiliated, or whatever. But the funny thing about it, it was a white male who said this. Now, this is how you're triggered. I know why you got triggered. It was the whiteness in you that wrote that comment because you didn't like one of your own being put in his place. You didn't like it. But there was a place for him, and it was not in our business. See, Angryman was being nice to him. I'll tell you why. And I'm gonna be honest. I was put in a similar situation, just not in a as serious of topic. If y'all go watch my I pinned it when Kwame reacted to my video and I was on the panel. I'm about to tell y'all something. Uh top secret information. I wanted to lose my mind on Carcino. The stuff that he was saying was absolutely egregious, but I wasn't even speaking. Why? Because I was on somebody else's panel that was giving me a look, and I'm speaking to someone else with a bunch of like I was being nice about it. I was being cordial. But if it would have been like just me and him in like a barbershop or like when we go and debate the topic, oh, I'm going to lose it on Carcino. I'm telling you now, I'm going to lose it on Carcino. So Angryman, even though his channel's growing, that was really a look for him. So he was being nice about it. Like even when he said it, he was like, I disagree. He said it damn near under his breath. I would have yelled it to the heavens that I disagree. People disagreed with this fool. But I just would have been more adamant about it and told him why. Because it wasn't his business. So we're back to do part 2 of this debate, just to trigger people in the comment sections that don't know me. Matter of fact, let me drop a link just in case there is somebody foolish enough, especially a white guy. Listen, if there is any white male that thinks they're going to argue with me about black culture, you, sir, you're a glutton for punishment. I promise. I promise I'm gonna smoke you. It's no white person that's gonna argue with me about black culture and be demeaning to the culture and not get told the hell off. And the link is in the chat. If you think you're this one white male that's gonna represent white culture disrespectfully and be racist when you're doing it and generalize all black men as jails as that go to jail, oh, the link is in the chat. Huh. Man, please. And y'all gotta, like I said, people who know me avoid me like the plague when it comes to debates. So anybody from Destiny's page that wants to hop your stupid ass onto this video and debate for him, I'm going to smoke your ignorant idiot ass. I promise you this. The internet got y'all feeling like these lames are somebody to punch up to because they have subscribers. Them type of people don't even speak to people like me about culture. A camera and a keyboard is what gave most of y'all the confidence to even talk to people like me. I would never get a debate out of a white man about black culture saying that stupid shit he was saying. He wouldn't even say it to Angryman. Y'all are weird. The internet has given y'all the weirdest type of confidence because it's not real confidence. And the second person that was triggered was a woman. It's weird. I wonder why. Women are so selfish with this topic that y'all are comfortable letting a non-cultured white guy speak on behalf of black culture just because he's blaming all black men. Now, y'all are okay. Look, you got a problem with it. You think it's an issue when someone blames black women. What Jason Whitlock just did was a problem. What Destiny's did is not. And I would have got smoked in the debate. Man, listen, I pray that there is an idiot ass white person dumb enough to debate black culture with me. I promise you. I'm going to send you. That's what's going to happen to you. You're going to get sent so far away. Y'all better ask about me. I really do this. Y'all just don't know. Fuck out of here. I'm late to the party. I would have got embarrassed, man. You better ask somebody about me. They're going to
is the way we're supposed to do things.
I don't know
so
when you say like gotten it wrong. I mean, like, if you want to talk about like do you believe like
just
in the
to pick on you idiots in the comment section?
What?
Because I do this.
Men
antagonizing is one of my strong points. Little do y'all know.
Yeah, I don't think you can.
I'm really good at
black women. I said there's like 50-50.
Well, here's the thing. No, because you said something. We gotta clear that up. Black men do not run from their families. That is a
no. I think we probably already debated this, but we back for some more. That's a racist comment. White men run from their families. Why? That's what we doing. You act like black. Let's look up the statistics. Since we want to just do statistics, Destiny. Let's look up the statistics. Let's just Google it. How about this? We're not going to use our life experience. We're not going to use what we know about life. We're just going to type in stuff. So let's type in white single mothers. I just want to see what pops up. I don't know. White single mother rate in America. So it's what, 17%, 70, 39%. That's almost half. That's a lot. So why do white men run from their families, Destiny? Why do white guys with blue hair run from their families, bro? We're using Google. Do you got to Google the answer, or can you tell me? I don't know. But why do they do it?
Total misnomer, and that is a that is something that has been pushed for a very long time, and it is not accurate, as I stated before.
And then hold on, wait. Everybody catching the smoke today, and I want somebody to hop their stupid ass on this video trying to debate. Please let it be somebody foolish enough to send their ignorant ass up here to say, "Oh, he's wrong. Let me hit the link. I'm gonna show you." Never mind. I'm gonna show you what people have been avoiding for years with me. I can't get a fade with nobody in the world on no subject or no topic. For real, I gotta start debating shit I don't know nothing about just to get a debate out of people. So leave me alone. But the point is, there was a woman, another person who would be triggered by this, says, "Wow, this debate went all the way over your head." Let me tell you what I'm doing. I'm centering it. I'm putting a person who does not need to be even speaking on the hot seat for their involvement on a topic that they're just loosely speaking on, that they're involved in. So the debate went over your head that none of this was said. And it's really kind of rich and mighty of y'all to feel like you could do something that I can't when I have a reaction channel and neither one of y'all did. I really kind of do this. This is like what I do. So like, yeah, it didn't go over my head. I kind of like process it. This is kind of like what I do. I don't even 99% of the videos that I react to, I don't even watch them before I do it. And I process everything right on the spot. This is what I do. Yeah, I promise it didn't go over my head. I promise you that. That's the one thing it didn't do. So what are we doing?
When you go back to the 70s, you start to see black men leaving the households for numerous reasons. It wasn't just because they just decided, oh, you know what? I don't want to be a father. That's not true. They actually came out with a study and the CDC numbers disproved that. So let's
wait. CDC numbers disproved what? The black household having single moms is not like a myth. No,
I didn't say that. What I'm talking about is nowadays black fathers are actually in their children's lives more than any other demographic, even if they're not in the household. So
no,
if we're talking
come on,
about,
that's not true.
Go look it up.
I have looked it up. I know exactly
CDC.
I know exactly the
CDC,
fucking PDF. Yeah, what they do is they do a whole bunch of like really clever number games to basically try to say that. I remember reading this thing like true.
I think we already seen this part. Let's fast forward. But anyways, you're turning the black community into a numbers game and a numbers because you're one of the squids bosses, just sitting back watching people with your computer. You can't relate to none
in
of
the
this
house, and the man is going to leave the house. So the court system does not want to uproot the child out of the house that they're used to living in and put them in another house.
Sure.
That's the
I think this is the part of the video where
I'm saying
lead attorney has a whole channel dedicated to it. Just destroying anything you had to say about
he's giving some money, then he'll win that case.
So go to lead if you want to hear
because she signed the affidavit. The problem is they don't serve fathers on that initial court date.
Oh, and yeah, this is when he was talking. He probably doesn't even have
the initial paperwork.
Talking about child support, talking about something.
Financial inability to support the child.
He's talking to parents about kids trying to Google something. One of these days, y'all are gonna, since it's black women triggered in the thing, do you see the ridiculousness there? Can somebody who don't got a kid Google you about being a mother? Any experience you went through, can all of your experiences as a mother be Googled? He's talking to this kid about an experience as a father, and he's saying he has to Google it. Since his mother's in the chat saying it went over my head, did that go over your head? That he did that? Huh? Since stuff going over our heads, since the internet, since people on the internet have an inherent need to want to feel smarter than everybody, I'm going to let you get your opportunity. Be smarter than me. Tell me what I don't know. So did it go over your head that this man is listening to someone talk about an experience as a father, and his response is, I have to Google it? A woman would lose it if someone tried to discredit your experience as a mother, telling you got to Google it. Oh, it's not on Google. Motherfucker. You can't Google being a parent. You got to have a life experience of that. It's not all on Google. He telling you something that he went through and you saying, I got to look it up. You don't got to look it up. You got to live it. You got to have a child. You got to have a baby mama. You got to have an experience, punk. But you have none of that. You just got a computer and fast hands. You type very well, Destiny. That's what you good at. I see that very right now. Typing is your strong point. You type 300 words a minute.
And then it leads to say, of course, that often is closely related to the father's failure to pay child support. So even when the mother has an inability to support the child, it's still the man to blame. And did you know, Destiny, if a man doesn't pay child support, he could go to jail? And we're talking about men who can't pay child support, right? So now they can't pay child support because they literally...
I know he probably doesn't understand that question, but that's punishing them for not doing what they're supposed to do. Like you say, doesn't happen to people. Weird ass shit, man. Just weird. I don't understand.
Don't have the money most of the time, and then they get sent to jail, and then they don't have the money anymore. Like a lot of these stuff happen, get caught up in the system that we can say is just on the men. They need to step up. But if you get put on child support where you don't even know you are on it, and now you don't want to pay it, or you can't pay it, and you end up going to jail for something like this. Like, that's a little bit of nuance that you won't ever talk about.
Well, hold on. First of all,
he is
wait.
talking about it. He is talking about it. He said they go to jail. He just didn't say for why. He didn't say anything about the police officers that unjustly charge people with things, that people that set people up. He mentioned Biden putting drugs in their car, but he never mentioned the police officers that actually put drugs in your car, plant drugs, because he doesn't have any life experience. He's just got a computer. He needs to Google cops that plant drugs, percentages of cops that plant drugs. Since everything is a damn stat to you, go look up that. That's the percentages of cops that are dirty as shit.
Wait, hold on. We can't have like three fucking people bouncing back and forth.
Let's not hold on.
Anything. Okay, so firstly, let's read this entire thing, okay? Some of that 60% is accounted for by...
His response is off a computer. Huh. He listened to a father tell him about an experience he had, and then he listened to someone else tell him about things that happened to men. He didn't quote no numbers. He said this happens to men. Now we got to read Google or something you looked up. Okay, Destiny. Respond with a computer, bro. You are a bot. You're not even a real person, Destiny. You're an AI. They did a good job with you. You actually look like a human being, bro. But you're just a bot. That's why you don't have your own thoughts. Somebody said I would have got humiliated in this debate by somebody who can't even speak for themselves.
The fathers are most likely to seek custody when the mother is egregiously unfit or dysfunctional. Funny. This says some. So that implies less than 50%. Okay. So it's not just when the mother is fucking egregiously unfit or dysfunctional. Okay. When you talk about like going to jail for not paying child support that you didn't even know that you owed, I've been through the child support process because me and my kid's mom are separated. And
damn, I didn't even know you had kids. My bad, Destiny. You talk like you ain't had none. So let's talk about your experiences.
I wanted to do everything by the courts. My understanding from my personal experience is that both sides have to be served papers.
Wait a minute. See, Destiny, see, you kind of, see, listen. Y'all split up and you wanted to do everything by the courts. See, that shows something about you. You can't co-parent on your own. You needed some help. You had to Google how to co-parent. Why would you want to have someone else in your situation? You wanted to do that because of her. You wanted to do that because of her. She was unbearable. She wanted more. She was greedy. See, any man that wants the court system involved, it's because they don't want to pay more. They don't want to have to be. See, you just told on yourself. See, you just told on yourself, Destiny. You wanted to do everything by the courts, which is smart, but it also shows something about either you or her. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at you for doing that, but it also tells something about you that isn't good. No good deed goes unpunished, Destiny. You thought you was just gonna go to the court and put yourself on child support and nobody was ever gonna wonder why? Well, I wonder why. Because every man who does that has some type of motive behind it. And I know what yours is, sir.
You can't, when you go to a court to file when the father is known. Now, if the father is unknown or something, that might be a different process. But when the father is known and you are seeking relief from that person, when you go to file those papers, service has to be given to the other member of that complaint. It'll be listed on the...
Stop saying that. Can you please just stop saying that? They don't always serve people. They don't always do it. They don't always do it, dude. Sometimes they don't even know people's address. We've seen all type of cases. Stop it, Destiny. Can you stop it? Can you stop it? I have a reaction video on my channel right now to a guy that got put on child support after he found out that the child wasn't his legally. Legally did a blood test to find out it wasn't his and got put on child support after that. So stop it. Stop acting like you can Google everything that happens, bro. You can't. Things happen that you don't know about because you can't look them up on your computer. Can you stop it? Just
on the paper, like for the county clerk to like file the paperwork, pretty sure both people to be involved. Now, there might be some extra cases where that is not the case. I'm Googling like crazy to try to find it, but every single thing that I'm seeing is...
Stop Googling like crazy. Let me tell you about it. I'm Google. You always mention these deadbeats, fool. How you think these women get assistance? They have to list something. Huh? So they go off the woman's word, Destiny. If they can't find a guy, they'll make up a guy because it's a money process. You fail to realize this because you can't Google it. Well, you can Google it, but it's a money game. So they don't care if there is no father. They'll make up a father just to get you through the process to give you some stamps or some assistance that they get the kickbacks for through breaks and taxes. and things of that nature. You can Google it. So you know what I'm saying. I don't know why I'm telling you this. You can Google it.
And you must serve papers. You have to serve papers. That you're
No,
not
you
just going to
don't.
wake up one day and have a child support order against you and like, holy fuck, I didn't even go to court for this ever. I've never seen that ever.
Do you know, have you ever, you need to watch Paternity Court. You need to go watch Judge Lake. You've been too busy Googling. You never seen Judge Lake. You never seen Judge Lake. If people pop up, oh, I didn't even know. It was a guy who went to jail for 5 years for lack of child support. It was a white guy, Destiny. White guy. Paid child support for 18 years, went to prison for 5 years, and then he found out the kid wasn't even his. Google what they're going to do for him after he went to prison for 5 years and then finds out the child isn't even his. Google what they're going to do, Destiny.
It says you have to serve papers, but is that, look, there's a difference between service, right? One version of serving papers is delivering it, but another version is you got to sign for it. Okay. What I've noticed is that initial case, they went on with the case without me signing anything. Now, after that, when I had subsequent cases, I had to sign for the service. I had to sign for the paperwork. Okay. So I don't know which jurisdiction you're in, but in different jurisdictions,
he's in Google jurisdiction. He lives in Google County.
They do things differently.
He's
right?
Googling right now.
Everybody knows different jurisdictions have different.
Okay, yeah, I live in Florida now. I know what Florida law is, and I was in Nebraska. I've had people serve me papers before. Service to me has required acknowledgement. Now, I could be wrong, and if somebody links me or whatever, I'll be like, okay, it's different here. Because it might be. I don't know the law everywhere. I agree with that 100%. But I would be surprised. You're telling me there are states where legal service can be dropping something off in a mailbox? And that's like...
Absolutely. Google it. First of all, and you were present. We're talking about somebody who, okay, we're talking about a lot of different cases, right? But let's talk about one, Destiny. We're talking about a guy who was just a one-night stand, and she doesn't even really know the guy's real name. He told her his name was T Money. She was calling him T all night. She doesn't even know his real name is Clarence, because his street name or whatever is T. So she was calling him T, and they had a one-night stand because he had swag, and she ends up getting pregnant. She can't serve T.
Service. I've served you papers because this is why, like in movies and shows and everything, somebody will find you.
But if for any given reason she finds out who T is, then T will be on child support, and he doesn't have to ever sign for any type of papers. And
at work, we're like, hey, here you go. You've been served. Like, you have these papers.
Yeah. But if you notice, look, I don't know what's going on. Like, I have an issue with it because I feel like service means that I should be signing for something. But every single time that has happened to me, and I'm not the only guy, I've had other guys tell me the same thing, that initial court date, the one where they could actually contest it, they didn't get service. They didn't even know. They didn't even know until after they owed it. And it's crazy because what happens, just like Sway just said, you know, when you don't know or you actually get locked up for it, whatever, you're not really locked up for child support. You're locked up for failing to adhere to a court order, right? That's the loophole, because they're not supposed to be locking you up for owing child support.
And the reason why, Destiny, is because it's a money game. So in some states, it's impossible. But in other cases, it's harder to get off than to not be put on. So if you can go there and contest it, you probably have a real reason why you never should be on it to begin with. But if you're T, but your real name is Claude, you're not going to be there to contest it. Or if you don't know about it, you're not going to be there to contest it. Or if it's a day that you got to work and they put it on, she don't work, and you're at work, and it's at 9 a.m, you're at work. So you can't contest it, especially when you don't know what it is. So now, like I just referenced about Texas, mainly that's the place, you can't get off. So even when you find out the kid isn't yours, you're paying. Doesn't matter, you're paying. So they do this to put people on it because they know the process of getting off is like death row.
Yeah, in California, you have to do. I mean, like, if something happened to you, maybe you missed it, or maybe something happened, or I can't speak to your personal story. But like in every state I'm looking up, like according to the judicial branch of California, the party who chooses to begin the legal process must notify the other and must.
So, okay, Destiny, Mr. Google, I'm gonna start calling you something else. So, Larry, I'm gonna call you Larry. So, Larry, are you saying that the law follows the law? Everything that you Google that's supposed to happen happens. Cops aren't supposed to gang up and beat a kid to death. Can you Google where they can do that at? Well, I can Google you and show you where it's happened at. So you think everything that you Google is how it happens? That's not.
Must do so through the service of papers. Within the context of child custody, the parent seeking custody has to serve copies of their filed paperwork to the other parent. Like, I don't think you can just like say like, oh, I served them and now they're garnished and now they're getting locked up for child support.
We're dealing with the court system. And when you're dealing with the court system, there's a whole lot of loopholes that are used for numerous purposes. And
Google them. Google the loopholes, Destiny, because that's too much like a life experience. So Google them. I guarantee you'll find them. Google them. Google court loopholes.
And like Patriarchy said a second ago, it is biased in favor of the women.
I don't believe any of this. If you guys want to like link,
you don't believe what? What don't you believe, Destiny? That the court system has loopholes and the court doesn't follow all of the rules? That the court doesn't play by the book? You don't believe that?
be something, whatever, that's fine. But we can't just keep saying saying it's biased. This is my story. Yeah, go for it. Okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did we say 90% of the? Didn't you quote that 90% of the women get the custody? But it's not biased in any way. Come on, what? You don't believe it? Destiny, I'm about to find you a link right now.
Link I know how to play you. So I'm going to post something right now. Mm-hmm. What year did that article come out that you posted from the Chicago Tribune?
From 94.
1994. Okay, I have something right here.
And then you went from an article from 94?
Say this, right?
What
I'm saying right now is still 60% awarded to women. When I said 90%, I made a mistake. I was thinking about child support payments, right? Like 90% of child support payments, 90% of alimony goes to women. Sometimes I get that confused. But right here, it's still saying the overwhelming majority, and this is 2018. I posted two. The overwhelming majority is still going to women. And that's more recent than 1994.
Sure, but now the question is, are these in contested custody battles, or is this just on who's asking for custody, right? Well, I can actually, I'll just click through and I can check. Hold on.
I'm about to start treating you.
Because I posted one,
Destiny, I'm about to start treating you like you're in this chat. Yeah, it's a link, I think. Look crazy. I don't think it's even a link. Might be a link. That might be a link to essay about bias in the court system. It's just the first thing I can see. I just was typing away. But the point is, Destiny, why wouldn't you believe in life experience? Because you have to Google it.
Or two.
He's talking to you.
I came up here because I mean, we can get into the whole,
talking to
custody and child support system and
somebody said I would have got humiliated. Y'all don't know who I am, dog. I'm different. You can't sit here and type to me when I'm talking to you. You're looking up a response to say to me. Did you know that that's gonna trigger another response? I mean, he couldn't handle me. He doesn't have the personality to handle me. I'm different.
But I mean, if we're going to talk about single mothers and absentee fathers, is there no choice behind having a child?
Yeah, there is. There's a choice for men and women. That's why I'm saying I wouldn't just blame black women. There's an attack on both sides there, I think. Also, just real quick, so this thing doesn't talk about like in custody fights.
You ducked what he was trying to say to you, but I'll let you have that.
This
I
could just
actually
be
got the
that.
census. I just posted the census one because I want to go direct to the primary source.
Yeah,
So
sure.
this is
I clicked through to this too, but just real quick, there's like 19 pages. Like I can scroll through and look, but like it's gonna take me a sec. But like because I control left in this, I tried to find contested, control F contested, and this doesn't look like it's talking about contested custody. This is just talking about where do the children tend to live. But
okay, but it doesn't.
It's crazy how people who have life experiences know that everything that they're saying is true, but this guy has to look
talk
it up
about where
'cause
it's
he doesn't
awarded.
know.
Let me look through it myself. Hold on.
He's been in
So I
Nebraska
bring
his
that
whole
up
life.
because Destiny, I don't know if you are very hip to what goes on in the Black community. I don't expect you to be. But
He's not hip to nothing that goes on in any community, to be honest. I wouldn't even put that on him. He's just Google. He's Larry. Larry is not hip to anything.
as a common narrative, even before I was born, that I don't need a man. I can do all bad by myself. I can raise a kid by myself. I don't need a man to raise a child. There are videos from early as the 60s to the 80s to the 90s to the early 2000s that show multiple times Black women saying, I don't need a man in my life to raise these kids.
yeah.
Let me stop him. What's his name? Sway Reducer. What's his name? Sway Producer. My bad. My thing covering it up. That's why I can't see it. Let me stop him. Because I got a video on my channel called The Birth of the Modern Woman from 1947. And this lady was talking everything that he was saying about the birth of the modern woman. Go look it up. I did a reaction to it. I got the video of her and I got a reaction to it. You can go watch them both. But go watch me because it's both in one. And it's me.
But where did that come from?
Or watch her first and then watch me react to it. So you know how great I am because you ain't think all of that.
Their grandmothers.
And why? Because Black men were getting locked up, because Black men were selling crack, because Black men were killing each other in the streets.
That's the reason why, huh? And it's funny you mentioned crack. Never mind. You don't know nothing about Google Reaganomics. That's neither here nor there. That's the only reason why. That's what's happening, huh? When you think of Black men, you think of going to jail, huh?
Right?
Damn.
Yeah, so it's not surprising.
This comes
Oh, it's not
before
surprising.
that.
Women,
Yeah.
Black women weren't saying this in
All
the 50s.
these-
Black
all these-
women's
They were saying it in the 40s. They were saying it in the 40s. She literally said modern men, 1947. You so stupid. Somebody said I would have gotten bit. Man, y'all.
saying this in the 50s and 60s.
I would have turned this whole debate to something else. That's what would have happened to be.
They were saying these in the 60s. This started in the 60s. This came very, very prevalent in the 60s. This started before.
It started in the 40s.
For the whole crack epidemic and everything that the narrative behind Black men. We are always the guinea pigs when anything happens in America. And breaking up the family homes was clear, shows you the outcomes in the Black community. I tell my girlfriend this all the time. As much as y'all preach this strong, independent, I could do bad by myself.
I look so
look
bad
at the Black
arguing this.
community and
Fuck me,
see
dude.
where we're at. As much as y'all think you can, the outcomes you get as to when women rebel against their men in totality and say they can do all bad by themselves, they don't need a man to raise a child. You get a bunch of degenerate children who are either strippers or in jail, or like you try to say, some drug addicts that don't do shit.
I mean, you can point to Black women all you want, but like, what are the Black
I'm
men
not
doing?
complaining. I'm just stating.
First of all, it ain't got nothing to do with Black. At this point, every kid is like that. Not every kid, but kids without dads in the home generally are like that.
Well,
I'm just stating reality.
I'm not going to sit here and say there's
And not jail or none of that, but just that unruliness. They all have it.
no responsibility on Black women to be more careful about who they open their legs for, right? I agree with that 100%, right? But you can't turn a blind eye to Black crime, to Black drug dealing. You can't turn a blind eye to Black successful
Nobody does that.
people that get big in certain communities and then propagate a culture that is destructive to other Black men, right? And those are Black men leading those types of cultural norms as well. So
Well, that's people following them, and that's women following them, and that's them getting out of a situation they were in. People don't look at it like that. They look at it as a job. They're making money. They don't even really look at it that way.
Nobody's. I don't think
Nobody's
anybody over
blameless.
here-
But my
nobody-
question is, who's being kept alive by the state more? Who's taking more from the state?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Yes, you
What
do.
cost-
So
Yes, you do.
Wait. Well, the question is, what costs more, welfare for a black child or the amount of money we pay every year to incarcerate a black man? I don't know what the answer.
That we pay. Dog. Did you just say that? Did you just say that? You didn't just say that. I know you didn't just say that. That didn't just come out your mouth, Destiny. Prison is a business. You're talking to listen. Oh my God. You know the things that you're saying is connected right now, right? You're talking about, oh, these men that get rich and then perpetuate this thing in their culture. Why don't you Google the video of the label owner that probably looked a little bit like you, that went to the meeting of the private prison and told them to perpetuate this music because it will lead to people committing crimes, and then they'll get locked up in this private prison, and then you'll make money off of it. People get paid off jails. There's people who have, Bob Barker makes jail items. It's people who have food contracts to make the food in prisons. Wireless Securus. I want to. Are they ever going to be publicly? People talk about Michael Jordan investing in prisons. Y'all gonna have to cancel me too. The minute Securus Wireless goes public, I'm on it. Greatest investment ever. Matter of fact, I'm just talking. They might be public. But let me Google it. So, therefore, but the whole point is that it's a business, and you talking about how the amount of money we pay. Shut up, Destiny. You're just running your mouth, bro. You're just running your mouth, bro.
That is, do you?
Well, I mean, even if you want to look at,
they actually make money off of incarcerating black men. That it's not, they're not, we're not paying. You got to realize we now have privatized prisons. So privatized prisons actually get paid to incarcerate people. They actually get paid so much every day for every single day that you have an inmate in that prison. So it's not us that's the thing where we think, we're paying for these prisons. We're not paying for these prisons.
Well, first of all, what you just described is we are paying for those prisons, right? The government has to pay other companies to do it because it's not profitable. It might be profitable for that company, but overall.
Let me go back because I ain't hear what they said. I was looking up something. I'm trying to get some Securus Wireless. Let's stop. But let me hear what you said, because you sound stupid and I think you're trying to wordplay something that I'm just about to smoke you on, because they're not paying nothing.
Dealing. You can't turn a blind eye to black successful people that get big in certain communities and then propagate a culture that is destructive to other black men, right? And those are black men leading those types of cultural norms as well. So I just
nobody's I don't think
nobody's blameless. But my question is, who's being kept alive by the state more? Who's taking more from the state?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Wait. Well, the question is, what costs more, welfare for a black child or the amount of money we pay every year to incarcerate a black man? I don't know what the answer to that is. Do you?
Well, I mean, even if you want to look at,
they actually make money off of incarcerating black men.
First of all, now see, how did y'all let him do this, yo? Why are you keep talking about black people like they're criminals? White people are incarcerated too. For real. They pay this money that you're talking about, which they don't pay, to incarcerate everyone. Where the hell is my lighter at?
It's not, we're not paying. You got to realize we now have privatized prisons. So privatized prisons actually get paid to incarcerate people. They actually get paid so much every day for every single day that you have an inmate in that prison. So it's not us that's the thing where we think, oh, we're paying for these prisons. We're not paying for these prisons.
Well, first of all, what you just described is we are paying for those prisons, right? The government has to pay other companies to do it because it's not profitable. It might be profitable for that company, but overall it's a drain. That's why the money has to come from the government to do it. But also, private prisons are less than 10% of all the prisoners in the country, right? Private prisons are like this huge thing that's like housing everybody. It's like 8% of people are housed in private prisons.
You said 8%.
Yeah, and we're losing money on that.
You got a stat for that? You got a source for that?
Yep, right here. I think it's almost right at the top. 26 states and federal governments incarcerated 99,754 people in private prisons in 2020, representing 8% of the total state and federal prison population.
Put that in the back chat, bro.
The thing, I get what you're saying. I just think that you should blame the people for blame one group for what it is that they're doing, right? So I don't disagree with you talking about blaming black men for dealing drugs and committing violence. But at the same time, right, to go back to your original statement, you said black women were the backbone of the community, right?
Yeah.
You said that they outnumber black men 3-1.
In some communities, yeah.
In some communities, but in general, right, there's a lot more black women than they are black men. How is that backbone doing?
Well, considering women are approaching black men in income, I mean, that's one thing. Black women are out-graduating black men, right?
Okay.
I mean, like, it seems like they're trying, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you they're doing great. Because that's not a great position to be in. The broad here's just, I think you're misunderstanding me. I'm not here to shit on black men, okay? Like, for every issue that I brought up with black men, why are they selling drugs? Why are they killing each other? Why are they doing these things? It's because the lot in life they've been given goes back to fucking slavery. It's fucked. There's a whole bunch of shit.
Disagree.
Okay, you can disagree if you want, but black families don't
Slavery
live in
nothing
certain.
to do with you dealing dope.
Okay, that's fine. You disagree with that, but I'm a liberal, SJW blue hair, so this is what I believe, right? That even through fucking Jim Crow and before the Civil Rights Act, where your grandparents were allowed to live, what part of the city you could have a house in,
dealing dope
all of
back
this shit.
then?
What?
Were they dealing dope?
No, but they were getting fucked by anybody that could fuck them, right?
Here's the thing. Hold on.
But wait, let me just make my point, okay? I'm just saying that like I understand why the issues in the black community that exist for men exist, and I'm not going to sit here and say fuck them for that. But while I'm acknowledging that, I'm also going to acknowledge the issues for black women as well, right? When black women are like, oh, I don't need a baby daddy, I can do this shit on my own, fuck black men, blah 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 blah. Well, that's a response to black men. The same way that black men not trusting cops is a response to cops fucking over black. Men, black women not trusting black men is going to be in response to black men fucking over black women. I think we have to understand at the end of the day. Hey, like everybody's reacting.
Hold on a second.
Yeah, go.
But with all of that, then you can't have a problem with the red pill then. Because if you are saying that you understand the relationship dynamics between certain groups of people, you understand that black men are apprehensive to police officers and women are apprehensive to men. Why is it when men create a space for themselves where they're naming all the negative things that women have done to be aware of these things, why then is it an issue?
Because when you get into any good leader or successful person knows that putting yourself in a victim mindset of blaming and looking at everybody else for doing wrong things is never going to propel you forward. What you have to do is you've got to look at what can I do to take accountability? What can I do to further like my situation in life, right? And that's all you can do. And the concept pitting forth of like men and women against each other. Like at the end of the day, regardless of how black men treat black women or black women treat black men and women want to be together. Just like white men and women want to be together, and Asian women and men want to be, like, everybody wants to date people that look like them or in their communities there. That's what we all want at the end of the day.
But nobody.
And making it really adversarial, I just think like it fucks everybody. It makes it hard for everybody.
But here's the thing.
You said this. Hold on. He said this on Fresh and Fit. They are. You said an adversary, right? They are adversarial because that's what comes when women come into certain places that were historically designed for men. You said that men need to do more than have a paycheck, right? Okay, so when you are now getting a paycheck as well, when we have to compete with each other in school, when we have to compete with each other in the workplace, when we have to compete with each other socially, that makes you a competitor, which makes you an adversary.
There's a difference between competing in some ways and being adversarial, right? Like,
what is the definition of an adversary?
But here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
I'll let y'all know right now. Though the way you framed the Destiny, you framed it to where black and women and men are competing against each other by all stats of metric.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing about this, because we got way before y'all pass all of that, we got to go back to something. Okay, number one, what you said about black women doing this in response to black men. Black women doing what they did is not in response to black men. That is a misnomer. First of all, prior to the 60s, prior to the 70s, you did not have black men doing what we're talking about right now. The everything that was done in response, the 93 crime bill, everything that was done that caused that to come about, that was not the reality for black people in the 50s and the 60s. Black people in the 50s and the 60s had one of the highest marriage rates. Yeah. Black people in the 50s and the 60s had community. Okay. It isn't until after you see the emergence of this new form of a welfare system that you begin to see the degradation of the black family.
Well, but like, but the welfare system is a response to like. Single
it's a
moms.
Response to poverty. It's a response to the poverty that black people as a whole were enduring.
But you can't blame single moms for wanting welfare. They need help taking care of their kids. And you can't blame the 93 crime bill for issues in the black community when the black community wanted the 93 crime bill.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. Number one, I'm not blaming black women for wanting welfare because they were in the 60s, they were in a state where they needed it. What I can blame them for is once they saw how it was disproportionately affecting their community, I can blame them for creating a lifestyle choice to be on welfare. In this day and age, you have black people that are on welfare as a choice. They are able-bodied and they can do something else, but they're choosing not to. So I can blame them for that. I can blame our system for incentivizing having children. Now, as far as the 93 crime bill, I'm not saying, that black people didn't ask for it. Yeah. The Congressional Black Caucus, which many of them do not even really represent us. Okay, that's number one.
Hold on.
They voted for him.
Wait. Let me say this. They do not represent our best interests. Okay. Now, I can blame the 93 crime bill for mass incarceration, and I'm not the only one who has blamed the 93 crime bill for mass incarceration, not just of black people, but Americans in general. So no, that wasn't solving a problem.
Well, crime did go down though. Like I got to be honest. Unfortunately, hold on a second. The thing is this, right? I'll be that. I'll be a coon. Listen. At the end of the day, whatever's going to make the crime go down, I'm pro crime bill, right? I think that the crime was so high in the late 80s and the early 90s that. even like you said, black people had no choice. And if you, let's be honest, right? When you talk about the Congressional Black Caucus, a lot of black people did put those people in power, right? And black people back then, different from right now, they wanted safety and security. And I mean, Biden's
I can agree to that, but there's only one problem. When you have a number of factors that are going to cause black people to get disproportionately policed, disproportionately locked up.
But that's because the crime was disproportionately in black communities.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Wait a second. See, y'all are not. See, this is a little bit of a disingenuous argument, and this is me. I'm gonna be a liberal for a second. We got to have a better solution other than just locking people up and throwing away the key.
I agree. I think everyone agrees. Everybody agrees, but the problem was that the crack was destroying the black community. Crime was rampant. The homicide rates in the 90s were fucking wild. Places like New York were fucking battle zones. And like, was the crime bill the best solution? Probably not. But like this idea, and I'm not saying you guys are doing this, but a lot of people on my side, a lot of the white people will do this shit. We're like, oh no, in the 90s it was just white people being racist. I don't think it was. I think it was black people who saw their communities getting fucking destroyed that were looking for any type of answer to those problems. And if mass incarceration was the way to go, then like that's better than
exactly.
We need another one.
That exacerbated the problem. That made
no, it solved the problem, but it created another one. It did reduce crime. It didn't solve it. It reduced crime, but it made other problems like mass incarceration of black men. It hurt black families, right? I agree with that, but
it was.
I agree with you during the time.
It created. Hold on. It was a Band-Aid, and what it did is it created another offset of black culture. It created the prison culture where guys are getting freaking celebrations for getting out of prison instead of getting celebrations for graduating college. So it created this culture where black people think, well, that's just one of the things you do. You go to prison. Like it's in every person, every one of those people. Like we got to stop ignoring the fact that when it comes to the crime bill, a lot of those people that got locked up were nonviolent offenders. They weren't even the individuals that were committing crimes.
I don't know about that. Like there are a lot of people during that time crime, right? You can directly attribute crack to high murder rates, right? You can look at when the drug trade as affecting those high murder rates. And the thing is, for me, I can't argue with results, right? So if the results of the crime bill are lower crime, then I'm gonna go with it. I'm sorry.
Well,
I mean, it just.
I hate to be the one. I hate to
Go
be
ahead.
the one to say it, but I gotta say it, because if I don't say it, every single brother in here is gonna be upset with me, because it needs to be said. First of all, you're talking about a situation that is a created situation. You're
Okay.
talking about a situation where you have narcotics being funneled into a community to fund a war, and this is not. Speculation. This is not me guessing. This is now historical fact.
Okay.
So we can't just ignore the fact that it's a created problem. So one, you might as well call it entrapment. You have a disproportionately affected community when it comes to poverty. You put something in that community that's going to cause problems, and then once the people engage in that activity, you lock them up. There actually might even be a class action lawsuit case if black people got their shit together, if you really want to be honest. But I just had to point that out.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, the thing that
with...
I think the thing that a black woman would say is nobody's forcing you to buy crack. Nobody's forcing you to sell crack, and nobody's forcing you to kill somebody over crack.
Nobody's forcing her to be on welfare. Fair.
No, she's not. But if she needs help taking care of the child, like
okay,
I think
nobody forced her to have a baby by a crackhead.
Hold on for a second. The same thing that you just said can be applied to if you got a kid that lives in the projects, he has no options, but then he sits there and he sees all of these people on drugs, and he knows he can sell drugs to make money to feed himself. That's no different than these people going down there to the office to get welfare.
Sure.
I'm not saying it's right.
I'm the liberal here. I agree with you. Okay, 100%. The situations are fucked up. The only thing I'm pushing back on is blaming just the black women. I think everybody's got their responsibility for all the issues that happen, women and men alike. I just wouldn't say it's.
I think the frustration with saying like blaming just the black women, bro. Black men have been the blame of the black community's failure for the past 60 to 80 years. Before I was born, I've been hearing this shit since I was a child, that black men ain't shit. We ain't done nothing. All the negative stereotypes about us since I was a child. And then now we start talking about the discretions and issues we've had with black women for the past 60 years, for 2 years. And everybody's like, oh, you guys are talking way too much about the black women and you are attacking us. It's like, bro, we are trying to work through our issues and come to a resolution. But like you said, Destiny, as much as, you know, I think, I don't know. know where Angryman is, but personally, I don't literally blame the white man for a lot of our problems. I mean, if we want to talk about welfare, system, when the welfare system was being implemented, they had a study on this and how it affected the white community and the black community. For some reason, when the unemployment rate of the men of those cultures, when it was down, the women's welfare was up. And then in the white community, once the welfare, the unemployment went down for the men, the welfare went down. But in the black community, the welfare kept going up even as the men were getting jobs. So at that point, they understood it wasn't about the men's money or trying to actually financially take care of the kids. It was a mentality, like I said, that they didn't need a man to take care of their kids.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And I agree with you that for a large point of the past like 60, 70, 80 years, that black men have been the ire of the black community. They get shit on by white people, by black women or whatever. That's horrible. I agree with that. But like for the past like 20 or 30 years, as black men have at the very least like largely socially elevated themselves, as they started to earn a little bit more money, as they've gained like big positions in entertainment, right? Well, what are the cultural norms now? Nobody likes black women, right? But black men are fetishized. In some communities, depending on what you're looking at, right? But if you look at like what we can say, like dating apps, or you talk to anybody, right? Sure, yeah, light-skinned women are, sure, but I'm just saying that, like black women are like down there with like Asian men in terms of like the types of people that people are trying to like date or emulate or whatever, right? So the idea that like today, I think that some of the standards have switched a bit, that there are black men that are gaining a lot of wealth, right? Not even just millions in entertainments, but sometimes past $1 billion for a lot of these musicians like Jay-Z and stuff that are coming out like starting businesses and stuff, right? I think that black men have done a good job in some places of getting really far, but it feels like some of the complaints are that a lot of that reinvestment doesn't happen back into the community, that a lot of that money is used to further negative cultural trends, right? People look at like Jewish people and it's like, fuck, well, what do, right? They hire their friends, they're doctors and lawyers for each other, they help each other out. And I was like, okay, well, what do black men do with their money? They make more songs to tell them to go kill each other, right?
Well,
I'm just saying that I'm just, again, and I want to be iterative. I'm not trying. Hold on. I just want to reiterate. I'm not trying to shit on black men. I'm not saying that.
Destiny. In this, we would agree with you.
Sure. Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying that I just don't like the focusing on. Sure. I just don't like the focus on shitting on black women. I think there are problems on both sides.
Here's my thing.
Well, we're not shitting on them. We're just bringing out issues.
No, I agree. And there might be issues. Well, the Angryman started by saying most of the problems in the black community, or maybe the majority, the vast majority. I don't know if you guys want to give it a percentage, but he was saying it was mainly black women's fault. That's what I was pushing back.
No, what I'm saying, What I'm saying, look, here's my thing, because you don't watch me, Destiny, but these other guys watch me.
Sure.
There have been plenty of times I've had this conversation about what black men need to do and the problems with black men. I don't just talk about black women, but I can sit back and I can, when I see black men trying to be in their children's lives, trying to do the right thing, and the women are giving them extreme pushback because we now have a culture of, I don't need a man, black men ain't shit, y'all ain't hitting on nothing, blase blah. See, this is no longer about statistics. This has become a cultural trend.
Yeah, I agree.
For black women to be. against black men.
Yeah, and that's shitty, and I agree with you. But again, like sometimes what's sold in culture is like, what is a successful black man? Somebody that finds a really hot white woman. Look at Deion Sanders. Look at Deion Sanders, who walked away from that HBCU to go coach in Colorado or whatever, right? Instead of staying, right?
Which he should have.
Okay,
but that's
maybe should have, but I'm just saying
that's civil rights, though.
Sure, I know, but I'm just saying that
people getting away from other black people.
Well, but I don't think I feel like the people in the I don't think that people like that appearance, right? Usually the idea is that people try to help their communities and get back and do what they can to like elevate their communities. But it feels like the success path for a lot of really successful black men is getting as far away from their community as possible.
And
right?
you know
That's
why?
what happens
you know
when
why
it's dangerous.
because this happens because when you have guys like a Nipsey Hussle who tries to turn his life around and try to do something positive. He's in a relationship with a black woman. You know, he tries to create a center to help kids get into STEM program. He tries to put money back in his community, and he gets killed by his own community. It happens over and over again. So what's happening is you have black men who become successful, and the reason why they leave their communities is because their communities have been constantly dealing with so much poverty that by the time one person or a small percentage of guys actually achieve some real level of success, they immediately become a target. They immediately become the victim of their own community. The problem is, as long as we continue to have the same issues, and I remember I watched one of your debates. You debated ABL. You debated Anthony Brian Logan, and you pointed out something that I was like, "Oh shit, that's a very good point." Where you said part of the reason that the black community might have issues is because we don't really have a lot of after-school programs. We don't really have a lot of places for these kids to be, and what they end up doing, and this is me. Adding to that, what they end up doing is they end up becoming part of gangs and getting into trouble and all of these different things. So So the problem that we have in the black community, I have told everybody over and over again, is that we don't participate in our local elections, and two, we don't really have a family structure anymore that's raising children properly. Now, if you really want to point the blame when it comes to that, yeah, you can say, oh, the fathers are not there, blah, 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 but we are ignoring the fact that the mothers are there. And there used to be a time where even when there was a single black mother, she still raised well-rounded adults that were able to function in society without being criminals. But nowadays, you don't see that. And you don't see that because there is a failure going on amongst black women who are single mothers, and nobody wants to acknowledge it because, like always, we still have the same mindset that we've always had throughout history, which is whenever a woman is perceived to be attacked, then everybody has to protect that woman. Instead of holding her accountable. Men, we can talk all day about what black men are doing wrong. Black men are being held accountable. Black men are going to jail for owing child support. Black men are being incarcerated for committing crimes and selling drugs. Women, however, are doing a lot of goofiness, being very neglectful to their children, and they're not getting any sort of reprimanding. They're not getting any sort of punishment for it.
If anything, they're getting a lot of America in general just gives praise to women's totality. It's not even black women, just women's like attitude, their weight. If they have if they have a child out of wedlock, a lot of times they're not negatively shamed for having that in 2023. More often than not, they're empowered to be these things, and we're not to judge them for it.
Yeah.
But if you want to talk about the financials part about, we could talk about money from the men who doesn't get back. I mean, black people do a lot of dumb shit in totality. We could talk about the churches. The amount of money we spend in the churches, and that's not any type of recycling system that gives back to its community. We talk about the Black Lives Matter movement. Where was our black churches at there? Our black churches are bought out by the government. And that was and we still go spend money there. Sure. And most of the churches are filled up by black women.
Let me respond real quick.
And that was a movement started by women, BLM.
Yeah.
How successful was that?
Okay, real quick. So for the angry black guy, or the angry man, sorry. Fuck, that sounded bad. The angry man. Okay, so I agree with you when there are issues that successful black people have to face that I don't ever have to think about, right? I don't have to think about like trying to leave my community if I become wealthy because I'm gonna get killed or some crazy shit like that, right? I acknowledge those are problems that exist, 100%. But if that is the case, that if you become successful as a black person and you want to bounce because you're worried that you're gonna get for staying somewhere, how do you not see that wouldn't create like a of resentment in the black women of the community if all of the successful black men want to leave, right? Like
I never said it didn't.
Okay, sure.
I totally agree. I never said it didn't. There are a lot of I hear all of the complaints.
Well, wait. Let me just respond to the other two things real quick too, right? Sure. The other thing you were talking about the black women are, making poor choices or whatever. It seems like black women are slowly carving their path out, but their path out is literally like them abandoning the black community too, where you've got a lot of them will talk about like divesting, where black women get abortions more than any other class of people, which I think hurts the welfare seeking point, because if they were seeking welfare, I don't know why so many of them get abortions, and black women are starting to attend college more, and they're starting to get better jobs, so they're starting to close that income gap with black men. But in this scenario, there are like paths to success for black men and black women, but because of the rhetoric where black women are constantly shitting on black men because their baby daddy left them, because they got hurt by some black dude, where they tell their black sons that they ain't shit their entire lives, and now these guys are growing up with their minds fucked, right? That's not good. But then black men constantly attacking black women, saying, you know, these women are shit, they've been shitting us their whole lives, they hold us accountable for everything. Meanwhile, when they up, they get welfare, they get housing, they get everything handed to them, and then we're demonized for it. This world of like adversarial shit is just making it so that really successful black men and successful black women, their goal is to just get the out of the black community. And that type of overall divestment where everybody's an enemy and everybody wants to get the out, that just seems to be like a really bad path to go down.
Why?
Well,
because I'm going to sound like a cuck, I guess. Or I don't know. Like, I wouldn't want to see like the black community completely destroyed because all the successful people just want to leave, right?
But Destiny, that's the future, though.
Well, I mean,
that's the future. That's progressive. That's what we need, right?
But that's the future you guys are fighting for. Is the fighting on both sides?
No, we fight for us to stay together. Like I said, a lot of people in this space don't like Fresh and Fit. I know you've been hanging out with them, and you
sure
like,
those are the communities that I'm. Yeah.
We don't really with them, nor do we agree with them. A lot of times, we want
some of the stuff
some of the stuff they say, but the whole like. The anger part that they give with the incel energy, cool. We don't really with that. We hold black men accountable for our actions. We just hope black women could come to the table doing the same thing, where we could come to resolutions instead of trying to compromise and we both leave unhappy.
Yeah, sure. I think that would be a good thing. Just as a warning, I've got something I've got to leave in like 5 or 10 minutes, so I don't want to feel like I'm running away. But you guys can all give your.
No, I'm not gonna keep you. I appreciate you coming.
I don't think it can work. I think the best thing is for, as you said before, for both people to just get out, right? I think that, as you said earlier, with the evolution, it's going to make us adversarial, right? The fact that we are competing for a limited amount of resources, we're both trying to get to the top, and now we're competing with each other. I mean, I just think that this is the adaptation that you were talking about.
That seems so sad, though. Like, the adaptation has to be like the destruction of the black community. Like, it just has to like disperse into everybody else. And
it happened during civil rights.
Well,
civil rights, it already happened.
The black community, the issue. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you go. I'm pretty sure you got something else to do. The black community. The problem is, and a friend of mine once said this. It needs to be razed to the ground and rebuilt, plain and simple. Because it's and really, to be truthfully honest, in my opinion, this is just my personal opinion. I'm pretty sure Sway and Patriarchy agree with me. I think it's time to get off of the black culture and just be American culture. That's just me personally. That's just my personal opinion, because this whole idea, because it's too much conflict, it's too much. Goofiness, is too much foolishness, and there's a lot of things that there's a lot of ideologies and a lot of ideas that just need to come to a stop. It just needs to come to a stop. And if I had the power to, I would abolish the welfare program. Like, that would literally solve the problem.
I will agree with you that there's like a lot of goofiness, but like, don't you think there's something to be said for the fact that there was a group of people that was enslaved in a country for over 100 years, and then civil rights is for however long until 64. But despite all of those setbacks, black culture has become, in a lot of ways, like almost the predominant culture of the world. That America's most important contribution to music arguably is jazz and rock and roll. It came from black people. That the most popular form of music today is rap and hip hop all over the world. I can go to any country in the world and hear Kanye West. Well, maybe not Kanye anymore, right? But I can hear like rappers like all over the world being played. Like, I don't know, it feels like throwing all of that away because there are problems right now and just saying it, when there are so many unique contributions to like the world community from like the African Americans in the United States.
It wouldn't be possible without white people.
We already, wait a minute, we already threw it away. And the reason why I say that, I had this discussion the other day. We already threw it away because if I were to have a conversation with the average black person, the average young black person today, they're not going to know black people's contribution to jazz. They're not going to know black people's. If I ask them, name 5 jazz musicians that were black, they're not going to be able to tell me. If I ask them who Ernie Barnes is, they're not going to be able to tell me. Like we've already, black people have already tossed away the best part of our culture. They've already tossed it away. There's only a few of us. There's only a handful of us out here. And when I say a handful, I mean a small percentage. There's only a small percentage of us that actually still value all of those things. Now what we value, now what we're starting to be known for is gang culture, going to prison, twerking, and all this ignorant shit. Like it's unfortunate, but it's reality.
Black history in America right now only goes back to the 90s. That's really it. Like, is you just started NWA, and if it ain't anything before NWA, niggas don't care about.
They don't.
People barely know what NWA is, especially the younger generation around my age, and that's only because they made movies about them, and Ice Cube is still relevant, and all these other things have been going on in the past, their childhood. But I mean, I agree with them that the black community needs to fix or come down to the ground. I'm not so sure on the Americanized part, because Americanizes in my brain, when you said that, means like the Western ideology, which we see anywhere else that subscribes to that. They're also suffering when it comes to male and female dynamics, regardless of race. So I'm not cool with the Western ideas. I also don't think it's as absolute to go back to the traditional where a man is required to do 100% of the bills in 2022 on average. That's just not.
Well, when I say Americanized, I mean black people actually participating in American structure instead of pretending that they're separate from it. In other words, black people actually going into the police force so that they can police their neighborhoods while we still have them, going into politics, going into, participating in America so that they actually have some say so over what goes on. But Destiny, I ain't gonna keep you in here. I didn't think you were gonna show up, so I appreciate you showing up.
Ducks nobody.
Yeah.
This ended up I see that now. This ended up being more of a discussion than a debate, but I appreciate you coming through, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I enjoyed the conversation. We were heated yesterday, but I mean, that's like online shit, right? But I appreciate the conversation, guys. It's been fun. We'll probably chat some other time in the future, I imagine. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah, have a good one,
Tell
guys.
me what an NFT is before you leave.
You really want me to?
Nah, bro. Nah, that's still my favorite.
That
That's
guy,
always
you didn't know. Wait, are you guys? Are we
I
fans
can't
of?
stand him, man.
Oh, okay,
I
that's
can't
good.
stand
Okay.
that dude,
All
man.
right.